instead of thinking, oh, either I'm ODM or Kwanzaa or Azimio or whatever, I'm like, are our needs being met as a people? Omosh.
Yo. So, you know this, I've been listening to you guys, and it's interesting about this whole thing with the kids and how kids come out. You know, growing up, the thing with kids is this. I'll take the church, because Ali likes to use that example all the time. So, with the church, whatever religion you are as a parent, you'll make sure you take your kids, indoctrinate them into the kanisa, let them go through. But when they become adults, they'll make a decision as to whether they want to continue with that religion, with that church, with
or
that,
not.
with that direction. But as a parent, you need to kind of like give them that opportunity and shape them. And so if that's the religion that you have chosen, whether it's the, and then now switch this now to politics.
Embargo in our house was no politics, right? Until we grew up. And then now, everybody has an opinion. Let me tell you, in that house, even right now, it is full-on drama. But it's full-on drama because especially like now, most of my older siblings and my parents are more on one side. But then when you come and challenge them, you're like, have you thought about this and that? Oh yeah.
There's no challenge.
Yeah, you on the other side. Oh yeah. Sasa pure man's you're like
yeah.
It's like, let me tell you, it is so much mpaka it has almost, I kind of tell them, like, you guys, you sound like you're in a cult, like in a political cult.
They are.
So the partisan that comes from our own houses, like, even, I won't lie, even me, even like when in my house, when we're watching news, my news tend to be more liberal, mostly more liberal. The kids will know, like, it's NPR in the in the car going to whatever. And when you get home, we are watching stuff. Even if it's news, it's more liberal. But how would these kids be exposed to the conservative side for them to actually think logically, like, okay, this guy is arguing this way. Does it make any sense? And this guy is, talking this way. So which one of these two is being truthful, logical, or in any way to just deduce it to, okay, I will support this guy because it kind of makes sense, But because in the house we're being so partisan, we're like leaning one way, the kids end up being that way.
Yeah.
Until that day, atakuja kwamba like, oh, hey, think about this. You're like, okay, I never thought of it that way.
But
I see Max being the one who, Max the son being the guy who'll be like, but dad, hold on. Emilia, I don't know.
Let me ask you.
But we also have to be careful. Okay, go ahead.
Let me ask you. So your news are more liberal leaning.
Yeah.
Most likely you end up voting D if possible, right?
Yeah. Say Democrat.
Democrats. Yeah. Okay. Oh, oops. See, okay. No. So if your kid came to you and they told you, you know what, Dad, I think the Republicans have a really great platform.
Okay.
How do you react to that?
You'll be thrown out.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Explain
Give
to
the
me.
strength of your reason.
We thrown out.
In our house, in our house, it has to be logical.
Okay.
It has to make sense.
Okay.
It has to be logical. If you argue your side, it might be outlandish as it might be.
Okay.
But it has to be in some way logical. Let's talk.
Okay.
Let's have that, conversation. You'll stake your side, and I'll tell you, what
your side. But what I mean by that is, what if the party platform of Republicans appeals not just the party platform, or which, by the way, it is almost the same.
Right now it's the same. Right now it's the same.
So if they literally agree with the party platform as is, and to them it makes sense, they explain to you this is why.
Jemo will grow older.
Oh, of course. but this is okay.
It's true. Right now, even me.
Yeah.
You also
that's the thing, though. Like so I'm using that. That's the same in Kenya.
But I think what we have to be careful with our households. Yes, it's important to teach your kids to look at things from both perspectives, but don't be fearful of taking positions because you're the one who's guiding your children. Here's the thing, you're the one who's guiding your children. So I think, like if you've given your child guidance on issues about racism, on certain pertinent issues that especially Black people have with the Republican Party, if these are things that you've brought up your child, and they're conscious about them, it's very difficult for them to do an about face and tell you, I'd rather go for these people who Trump. Let me not even talk about the Republican Party. Let me talk about Trump in particular, who is very specific. Who is that? Yeah, whose positions are like this and like that. So I think, the worry comes when someone is coming to you when you have siloed this information, like nyumbani hakuna politics. So then now, they start forming their own political mind, and this is not going to be based on the values that were brought up in the home. So I think we also have to be careful when also we are telling our kids to weigh things on both sides. Also teach them that, when you see injustice, don't be neutral. Because this thing of neutrality, it's sometimes taken to be a positive, but it can become very negative. Like when you see injustice, don't be afraid to take a position. When you take a position, come in with your strength of reasoning. Reason it out this way. So even if he's made a choice, to be part of the Republican Party, and there's a strength of reasoning that's making either logical, because there's logic and then there's emotion. Most people are more on the emotion side than the logical side. So as someone who's logical, you also have to think about how to logically touch on this emotion so as to be able to convince people who are on this emotion. Because most humans, generally speaking, are usually not very logical. No. So you have to think about what's most important to this child or to this family member and logically try to bring them. If you think they're straying to a direction that you're not liking, you can just try slowly to bring them back than force them.
Now, before Mosh chimes in, I don't know if Mika is still on, but I think it goes back to what we discussed last week, critical thinking. And I think that is where, but because because politics is like religion, I think it's one of those debates where you cannot really have a winner. You can't say, I won and you won, because, you have got your own stance. This one has got, his or her own stance. But then there are certain things that you can instill in your child that, can probably allow that person to be grounded and navigate. It's good to be human. It's always good to listen. You have humanity. Kuwa na utu. Those are some of the things that you can instill instead of just, because now out of that, people start becoming themselves.
Yeah.
Then, in addition to being, being grounded with utu and whatever, then learn to think.
Yeah.
Learn to, you can position yourself and understand logically. Now, Keja over here says and agrees with me, the lack of civic education. And by the way, Pablo, yes, I did not call Modokoi Mashakura.
We're just about to fight.
Modokoi, unakula Modokoi, unakula Mashakura, but
you just actually created it, and that's not good.
Excuse me, Mashakura is better than Modokoi.
Excuse
but anyway,
me, no.
So anyway, so what I was saying is this: the lack of civic education, even like now, for example, understanding, let's say, the political structure in let's say your constituency. Unafundisha mtoto, this is your MCA, this is what the senator does, this is the role of the member, the MP or whatever, judicial. Just so that in itself, without really being politically, you want to lean political, just understand, okay, the role of this is what you need to do. City council does this, the area chief does this, the whatever does this. That way, a child, instead of thinking, either I'm ODM or Kwanza or Azimio or whatever, I'm like, are our needs being met as a people? Omosh.
Yo. So, this, I've been listening to you guys, and it's interesting about this whole thing with the kids and how kids come out. growing up, the thing with kids is this. I'll take the church because Ali likes to use that example all the time. So, with the church, whatever religion you are as a parent, you'll make sure you take your kids, indoctrinate them into the kanisa, let them go through. But when they become adults, they'll make a decision as to whether they want to continue with that religion, with that church, with
or
that,
not.
with that direction. But as a parent, you need to kind of like give them that opportunity and shape them. And so if that's the religion that you have chosen, whether it's the, and then now switch this now to politics. If this is the direction you have chosen, fine, they can go with that. But at a certain point, when they become adults and have formed their own opinions and say this works for them or these values work for them, they'll then turn around and pick some area. But I think the problem with the generation of today is the parents are
they're trying to let their kids make decisions that they should not be deciding.
They're making them become independent, right?
Yeah.
But as a parent, you also have to guide. This kid cannot guide themselves. Like there's a listener over here, in the comments who said that in their house, if it's not Baba, everything is being disbanded.
It will be disbanded.
But
very funny.
But their kids know that handshake means azimio, which means there's some sort of conscious, or a massaging or saying that this is that. That's, Baba. And I'm sure if the kid knows that is Baba, they probably know there's a guy called Ruto. So at some point, when they become older, they would then decide, okay, you know what? I want to stand for this. I want to stand for this. I want to stand for that. But I think as a parent or as an adult or somebody who has their influence on these upcoming generations, you need to take a stance and shape them a certain way, whether it's one way or the other. When they become adults, they can then switch. It's okay. They do that. But not doing anything and thinking that they are all of a sudden going to get an aha moment is a disservice to them and to their entire generation and their kids that are going to come up.
Yeah.
And what Shaka is saying here, if we Africans are not taking a position, the white people are taking sides and guiding their kids. I learned this during the last general election when I had a very interesting conversation with my kindergarten about Trump, something she had learned from her classmates. Yeah.
Can I say something to that? I think millennials are overcorrecting the boomers so much.
Yes.
I think that is the problem. I think we need to find to realize that what the boomers did to us, it was with good intentions, but we need to find a balance. So when it comes to guiding, let's just talk about religion, because a lot of millennials are leaving church. They're like walking away from church. It's like they don't care. They call it either they're reconstructing their faith or they're deconstructing their faith, and this is the reason why.
Deconstructing, probably.
There are some who are reconstructing, and the people are completely deconstructing. So this is the reason why. Boomers tell you, we will take you to church, or this is who we vote for. Take you to church until you're 18. In church, you end up learning, I'll say, how to be a good Christian or how to be a good Muslim and all this stuff, right? This is the thing. Once you get the age of decision as an adult, you're not expected to change. Like it's a fallacy that boomers expect their kids who are millennials that to become an adult now, that you can be like, you know what, I thank you for teaching me that, but I disagree with you. There's backlash to it, right? And so like what's happening in churches right now, we were taught social justice. It might not have been called social justice when we learned it, but that's what we were taught, right? We were taught how to look out for the poor, how to morals and what they are. So we are looking at Trump. Like Trump does not represent what we were taught as good morals, right? But then boomers are like, I don't know what happened to boomers, but now apparently they're able to morph what they think and what they taught us to fit their own narrative. And then millennials are like, this does not match up to what you taught me, and because you want me to continue believing what you want me to believe, adios, I'm out. Okay, so there's that. Then the other thing with millennials, what they're doing is, I was not given a choice to decide whether I wanted to be a Christian. I was not given a choice to decide whether I wanted to do this. I was not given a choice to decide. I was just told to do this. So what they are doing with Gen Z and Alpha is they have overcorrected boomers. So they're more like, I'm gonna give my kids choices, you know, on who they want to be or what they want to be, without realizing that's gonna come and bite them. I think there is a part of guiding that is absolutely needed, but there's also a part of independence that is also needed. And it's finding that balance that's, I think, where I would say millennials are struggling with.